Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 10 versus 10 on Giza, and I'm going to be playing with the 5th Panzerdivision. So this is the destruction version of Giza. We are playing destruction today, which means that in order to win we need to reach a specified number of kills, which I think in this case is 40,000. You can see how many kills each player has got by the points next to their name. And you can see that the sectors are very, very different. And that's because the sectors determine income rather than points. So in Conquest, by capturing a sector, it would give you the points that it says next to the name. Whereas in Destruction, that's how many extra points you get per tick. And I think each tick is like 3 seconds. So if we were to fully control Foxtrot, then we get plus 5 points per 3 seconds. I think it's 3 seconds. I'm not 100% sure on that. Regardless, let's have a quick look at what I'm getting down. So we have a couple of Jäger that are going to be heading forwards from their recon start. I've got some of these 20mm Flak-Zwillings being brought up by these jeeps to deal with enemy helicopters. We've got some 2A3s, some Leopard 2A3s. Good old meaty tanks. We got some Rolands, or a Roland 3, and then we've got a Gepard back here with a couple of Leopard 1A5s. I've also decided to bring in a couple of Marder 1A3 Milans, and they have Panzer Grenadiers in them. So my Flak-Zwillings are going to unload. Unfortunately, they don't have a very fun time against the abundance of helicopters that Red has decided to deploy against us. So the Mi-24K and the Mi-8 MTB going to destroy those 20mm AA units that were brought in to counter them. But the Mi-24K is going to get shot down by McShab's Pamela. That Mistral doing the job there, finishing it off. The other Mi-8 MTBs are going to make a run for it. It wasn't too much of a concern that these 20mm got shot down. They're only worth 30 points. Or got destroyed, sorry, not shot down. They're only worth 30 points. And the idea behind them is that they stun enemy helicopters quite easily. Enemy artillery going to come in very, very hot onto where the positioning of that Pamela was. Look at that. Somebody investing into a ton of tube artillery at the start of the game, but not effective this time around. Now that my armoured forces have caught up, my Jäger are going to screen them, provide them recon, and we're going to be trying to push through this gap and see how much ground we can make. Now remember, this is all about KD, so having a really, really strong combined arms force is super important, because you don't want to get caught out by any one particular unit. I mean, it's kind of the same in Conquest, it's just in Destruction it's going to cost you a lot more in terms of winning the game. Igla go down. You can see that the points cost of the unit does pop up, so that's how many points I'm getting for killing them. It is kind of nice in Destruction because you can kind of confirm kills without seeing an enemy unit. Particularly if I was to like bomb an area like these Desan Niki here, but I couldn't see them, then the points I think still pop up. Anyway, Gepard moving forwards here. We're trying to get in line with the Mi-8 so I can shoot that down. Another 115 points. Meanwhile, the Marder 1A3s, they're firing across. Because they're slightly up on the side of the hill here, they have line of sight to the Desan Niki opposite, and we're able to kill them off pretty effectively. Gepard's going to be able to shoot down another Mi-8 MTB. The Leopard 1A5s struggling against the T-55s. One has already gone down. The other very low on health, as you can see. Gonna smoke off with the 1A3 Milan. 1A5 has the firing computer reset, which obviously isn't helpful. This 2A3 is turret stuck, and this one's very damaged. So I'm gonna have to fall back all of my armor for the time being, and make sure to bring up some supply that can fix them up for me. So a Mancat 6x6 already on the way, and that's going to be trying to fix these up as soon as possible. Meanwhile, force them to smoke off. Jaeger's in a nice position here because it's going to be able to recon for the time being. Roland 3 and Gepard will potentially look for a shot onto the Mi-2. But at the moment, just more concerned with fixing things up and bringing up more reinforcements. So another man-cat on the way, and we also have a Leopard 2A4. Now you'll notice that I brought in the 2A3s first. That's because they are cheaper than the 2A4s. 2A4s are actually very, very expensive. They cost 315 compared to the 270 of a Leopard 2A3. And at the start of the game, the 2A3 is going to be good enough. I think the only thing that a 2A3 would really struggle with is probably T80U or T80UD, which not many of the divisions on the opposing side have at their disposal. There is two 119th, which would have the T72, or sorry, T80Us. So Leopard 2A3 now engaging the Igla. Igla trying to push forwards for some reason, not entirely sure why. There's no helicopters here. Not relying on helicopters for my recon at the moment, just this singular Jaeger Aufklärer, which obviously don't want to lose if I can help it. I'm also forward scouting a little bit with the Panzer Grenadier, a little bit of an advance onto contact there. But meanwhile, bringing up the Zwilling that was left further back, and with my tanks being repaired, my Leopard 2A3s are now getting into position to push further forwards. Roland unfortunately going to be missing the MiG-21 there. Unfortunate, because the Ronin 3 does have some serious accuracy, 65% accuracy with 4,400 meter range. Nothing to scoff at. But of course, we're going to miss that time around. Did manage to get off a second missile. If you can hit at least one of the two, usually with another unit nearby you can shoot things down. Anyway, T-55s now being spotted. Leopard 2A3 engaging. Going to be able to find that kill because it's an AM2. That's 105 points in the bag, and we're going to make our push forwards. So BTR-ZD Skrzet going to be the next target. See that my Jaeger Aufklärer trying to move to the right hand side at the moment so that I have line of sight onto the enemy units. T-72M going to have a hard time against the 2A3s, and I also have the Marder 1A3 Milan providing its HGM for fire support. Fortunately, Leopard 1A5 goes down. Leopard 2A3s were not in line of sight to provide fire support, but I am able to smoke off the 1A3 Milan on the right hand side, unable to, however, to save the Jaeger Aufklärer. So I am going to have to back up for the time being. Definitely going to need more recon, and of course the Mi-24V for being actually very scary with that Kokon missile hitting me in the side armor. So getting the Roland 3 up, trying to get on line of sight, hoping that I can hit two missiles in a row. Because it's floating up and down, the trees are messing with the line of sight, and the Roland 3 does not find the second shot this time around. Artillery coming in. Have to quickly move away from that because my Leopard 2A3 most definitely would have died if it continued the direction it was going. And meanwhile, I've snuck up with the 2A4, and I've got some Fenspeer on the way, which should be able to provide me with adequate recon. I've also now brought up the Alouette, and I was pretty confident that I would be able to use this since the Iglas had been taken care of already. I'm now going to be backing myself up with an Apache as well. Going to be very, very useful for cleaning up enemy infantry, particularly units like this Desan. The Desaniki on this left side here, it's not really like scary because there's only one dude there, but if he managed to keep that hidden and then side shot my Leopard 2A4 while I'm engaging these two T-55s, for example, that would be really, really bad. But the Apache's going to clean that up nicely. Alouette's going to stick nearby so the Apache can see enemy AA potentially. And the rockets cleaning that T-55 up. We are going to spot the Mod Aufklärer on the right hand side, and the rockets, the Hydra rockets from this Apache, really, really helping us out as we continue to move forward. So you can see I've got the armor line at the front, we've got the recon in here, we've got the AA close behind, and now we have this helicopter support. So really good combined arms push here. And the Leopard 2A3 is making very short work of Shade's 7th Panzer Division, and also some of Red's tanks tanks so far, and helicopters, of course. Got to be really, really careful with the KA-50. Meanwhile, McShabbed has come over with the Jaguars, which managed to score a nice seed kill. That's going to make the Apache just a little bit more safer. But another Fernspeer on the way. I need to have more than one recon infantry squad. Honestly, a good tip is to have like 2 maybe at the front line, or even 3, depends on how many like lines you're pushing, and then have spare ones actually close behind, because it's going to be quite common that your opponent is going to go for the kill onto your recon units. Apache here getting very, very low. There's 2 Cubs and the Screzet, also the infantry that the Screzet would have unloaded. Going to have to get them landed quickly next to this supply vehicle so the MiG can't strafe them, or so the MiG can't just like attack them in the sky, and they'll be potentially out of line of sight here and get fixed up, so that'll be nice. Friendly artillery going to be coming in, absolutely smashes that infantry. Marder 1A3 finishes off the BMP. Su-25 actually really, really scary, but managed to smoke off the 2A3, avoid the AT missile from getting the job done. Akula still causing issues with the Vikia, trying to get the 1A3 back. Vikia missile misses, and the MiG-21 is going to get out as well. Those MiG-21s getting very, very lucky under fire from 2 Gepards and a Roland 3. A 2A3 going to have a great time engaging the T-72 as the plane crashes in front of it. Very cool. And now more tanks are going to be on their way to help reinforce. Apache's now fixed up. We'll use that more momentarily. But meanwhile, the Fernspeer going to be revealing the infantry on the right hand side there, using the G3 marksman rifle to engage them, and the Leopard 2A3 there, of course, helping finish them off. So the Alouette that I was using for recon did get shot down, so the Apache falling back, dropping flares because of its CCM. Cooler still causing me a little bit of problems, but 2A3 on the left here pushing very, very aggressively, trying to engage the Cubs, an enemy AA on that side. The Apache over here though needs to be careful of the manpad squads that were hidden in the tree line. We're doing okay so far. Team's got almost 10,000 points in our pocket. We have full control of Hotel and Foxtrot, which is giving us extra points, allowing us to bring in more units than our opponents. And the idea basically is that you want to take the sectors so that you can bring in more units, but you still have to be cautious with them. You can't just like throw them at the enemy and hope for the best, because if you do that, then there's potential that your opponent, even though they have less units, will ambush your more units, and then you'll feed the enemy points. So you do still have to be smart about things. You see my Apache here is currently going around the left hand side looking for enemy infantry, and I am going to find myself a Mortarflatter, which really isn't going to last too long at all. But all the while, what I'm doing right now is currently just waiting for my recon to move up and reveal enemy positions so that we can make a strong push. I've also decided to bring up a Roland 3, and we've got some Marder 1A3s and 1A1s on the way. You can see that I do have 2 Iltis back here with Fernspeer. Probably just forgot about them. Happens to the best of us. The plane though, crashing, looks very, very cool. Apache still looking around for more infantry on the flanks. Don't want them coming into the back of this tree line and killing my Gepard or my Marders, or even side-shotting my Leopards and so on. So Gepard moving forward is going to provide some fire support onto the Mordschützen. Actually pretty good idea to do this because they do chip damage over time, but they're really good for stunning. MiG-23 MF hoping to shoot that down. The Gepard, 3 Gepards getting shots on target there. This Gepard, they do have smoke, able to smoke that off in the face of the T-55, but it is engine destroyed, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. One of my Feldspieler is now coming up, my infantry further back, waiting to be pushed forwards, but I am of course micromanaging these engagements, and Shade here not enjoying his losses, so is going to surrender from the game. But I do still have Red and his VDV to worry about, the 35th Guards Air Assaults, but Nathan going to come in with the Tornado GR1s. Those bombing strikes going to cause absolute havoc at the back of the sector. We've also got rocket artillery coming down on top, so it's time for me to make a push any moment now, because the artillery will obviously soften up the targets that we are going to be engaging. Leopard 2A4 creeping slowly but surely. Do have to be careful about the T-72 coming in. The AI still going to be able to potentially pick off units if I'm not careful, so do need to be cautious with these 2A4s and not get myself side shot. Pioneer goes down. Feldspieler unfortunately found by the T-72. Going to be trying to fall them back. See, the two Leopard 1A1s though are being hit by enemy artillery, so they're going to have to fall back as well. 2A4 zooming forwards in hopes of saving the Feldspieler. Got some supply on the way to make sure that I can fix up this Leopard since it was engine destroyed. And the 2A4 at close range gets the shot onto the T-72. T-72 tries to fall back, gets taken out. The team really helping out nicely with this artillery. I could have probably put a leader into this sector, but in destruction it's not really the most important thing, especially when you're doing well. You almost want your opponent to buy more units so that you can kill them and get your points up, because getting to the 40,000 score is no small feat. But unfortunately going to be losing a tank on this left side. I didn't replenish the smoke, so Leopard is going to die to the Ka-50 Akula here, which has been an absolute thorn in my side as we've been pushing forwards. And you just got to make sure that I don't overextend like that when my AA is still so far back. These Leopards, you can see I did give a attack move up the road, and they were just way too far back to support that in time. But I am going to be able to get onto this Mi-8 at least, and if I can blind Red's helicopters, then they won't be as effective. T-72 goes down. Leopards really trying their best to finish off the Mi-8 while it's stunned, and we do manage to kill it off. You can see that we've also managed to now capture this sector since I brought up the Leopard 2A3. So the combined arms starting to move forwards once again with the infantry supporting me. These Panzergrens is going to allow the Leopard 2A4s to keep moving forwards. Got to be careful with the Apache. Whilst the Skrezet's not going to do much damage, the Igloo that it unloaded will. It's just going to be falling in that back for the time being, and I can move it forwards once my tanks have secured those positions. So we've currently got just the one 2A4 at the front. We've got a couple of Leopard 1A1s, and then we have the 2A3 leader there. So I am going to need to replace my tank somewhat. Another 2A3 on the way. That Feldspieler. It's always funny when I spot this in replays. Just chilling in their Jeep, you know, as you do. And I'm of course going to be bringing up some more tanks. The 2A4s on their way. 1A1 hopefully taking out the BRM. Manages to do so. Apache getting hit by the Strela 10M. Forced to fall back and land next to the supply to get that topped off. Akula still sort of skimming just far enough away from all of my AA to be an issue. And the reason that, like, Red's playing really well with this Akula because he's not allowing me to push forwards without putting my tanks at risk. And if I put my AA first to take out these aircraft, then I put my air at risk to ground forces. So it's very much sort of fine balance as to how I deal with this. Mi-8 there is going to get taken care of. Akula does manage to get a hit onto my 2A4 and also kills the Marder and makes a run for it. So still paying for it every time I'm moving forwards. Mi-26 going to make a run for it on the left. Marder 1A3 has found the Igla. Skrezet's going to try and pick that up to get out of there. But the Marder 1A3 cleans it up. So Red trying to do a runner, not quite working. Strela 10M going to be taken out on the road. That's going to make it easier for me to use the Apache once again. So I'm getting into a really good position now. You can see that we started all the way back here. We've slowly but surely made our way up to the position we're now in. I've got two options. I can either push over to Gulf and try and help secure this left side, or I can move and flank into the right. And what I opt to do is basically swing to the right, because this is where the majority of the players are on the enemy team, and then where the majority of the enemy units are going to be. And since it's a destruction game, we need to kill enemy units. So that's what I'm going to opt to do next. You can see that my Panzergrens are still moving forwards. My Marder 1A3 is still taking ground as well. And I'm making sure to keep my Leopards well spread out so that they can cover off against the Akula coming in from any angle. Leopard 2A4 going to move up and get fixed up. Bringing in supply like this, super important in WARNO. Never ever neglect your supply use. Make sure that whenever your tanks take damage that you are repairing them, because it's really, really important for basically getting value for money out of your units over time. Akula finding a nasty shot there onto the 1A1. Gepard unfortunately unable to get the stun in time, and the Akula once again getting away with the hit and run. Gepard on the left trying to shoot down the Mi-8 MTA, unfortunately not scoring any significant hits immediately. The fuel tank fire certainly making sure that it took a big chunk of damage. And I am able to shoot that down. Mi-2 also going to be taken out. You see Su-27 shot out in the sky. It's going to be going down. Nice expensive aircraft to kill, that is. We've shot up to 24,000 kills now as the engagement gets more and more intense on this backside. And this is one thing that I really, really like about Destruction, and one of the reasons that I actually wanted to show this off, other than like the combined arms engagements here, which is really, really cool to watch. The fact that on Destruction you can get into these really interesting positions on the map. Positions that you don't usually fight over. A Roland 3 able to take down the Mi-24V in 2 shots. That's absolutely lovely for me. Spezia did manage to get some cheeky shots with their AT weapon onto my 2A3, which put it in a precarious position, so that's going to have to fall back. The Gepard's trying to finish off the Spezia Su-25 is on the way. I'm hoping that my Roland and Gepard can stop that in its tracks. It's really up to the Roland 3 to make sure that it hits, but the Su-25, although it did get hit, still managed to unleash an AT missile that killed the Roland 3. Su-25 gets shot down anyway. We've got a lot of infantry here and a lot of enemies heading into this forest. You can see that Night Shift has pinged that he's bringing in artillery. I've got a couple of 2A4s that are firing on the flank here. Very, very cool indeed. HGMs there flying over the head as we engage. That artillery really doing a great job, and now cluster coming in as well from the Jaguars. Absolutely dismantling this push from Assassin. See the shots coming in there from the 2A4s. Really, really good in this situation. No unit that's really going to be a threat I've got a Gepard and a Roland 3 further up, so any AT planes that are going to come in and try and kill them are going to fail to do so. And with that large push of Assassin crushed, he is going to surrender. 2A4 now pushing aggressively on the T-55. This does have very good stabilizer. It's the same accuracy on the move as it is stable. So if you want to try and kill something, there's no real reason why you can't just right-click towards it and kill it, other than obviously getting yourself side-shot by things that might be waiting to ambush. But in this case, you know, I could have just right-clicked forwards and continued to take shots at things like the T-55 and the Schilke, and then my Panzergrens would have been okay. The issue in this situation is that the 2A4 is already half health, and it's too far forwards. Like, the AA wouldn't be able to stop an AT missile coming in from a plane. So 2A4 just better off backing off, keeping that safe, getting it fixed up by the supply that I have, and meanwhile AA can help finish off more helicopters, and Panzergrens still managing to get out there with a single man for the time being. Now these 2A4s are going to shift forward and head towards the edge of the map, see if they can intercept the enemy units that are heading towards us. Seed missiles out of the Jaguars, potentially wasted on that Schilke, but either way, gets the kill. 2A4s now trying to engage the T-72s. This is the AI still sending pretty potentially scary tanks at me. Side shots from the T-72s would still significantly damage my Leopards. Getting the kill onto the T-72 MK would be nice because it is worth quite a lot of points. You see there is a T-80UD hanging out on the right hand side. Not anymore. Jaguar gets the AT missile into the side armor. Absolutely huge. 2A4 getting plenty of kills as we continue to move forwards. And as you can see, I have brought up some more Marder 1A3 Milans, and they're going to push up with us as we try and claim more kills. A lot of my AA did have to fall back to the supply because it was getting low on fuel and ammo. So my front line is a little bit exposed at the moment to the Akula once again, but in this case, well, this time around, the 1A1s are going to get him to fall those back for the time being. Well, Shade's AI helicopter probably going to stay, but the Akula, you can see, is shifting around, trying to find a line of sight where it can use the Vikia without being hit by the Gepard 1A1s. Not able to smoke in time, unfortunately. Going to be losing one of my Panzergrens in the Marder there. On the right hand side, T-72 almost finds a side shot onto my 2A4, but missed. Able to clean up the T-55 there with a beautiful shot from the 2A4. Gepard covering my tank as we push forwards. Do manage to kill off the enemy helicopter, and you can see just how awesome this game looks when you zoom in. Really, really cool. Jaguars flying overhead, looking for targets with their seed missiles. Schilke once again popped. Meanwhile on the ground, player SFL taken care of. And now all of my units shifting forwards here. The infantry supported by their Marders. And also by the tanks. Just making sure that we're not running into any ambushes. And all the while cleaning house. Gepard staying close, Roland 3 in there. More Rolands on the way. Really, really doubling down now on the Rolands. You can see I brought in 4, 3 of them being Roland 2s. That was just because I'm getting so close to the enemy spawn that there's going to be a lot of aircraft potentially flying overhead. And that means that I should take advantage of that by using the Rolands in this situation. Apache moving up. Try and help take care of enemy infantry quickly. You can see how many attack move orders I have heading in as the Marder 1A3s continue to make ground. We're up to 32,000 points now. Really just looking to find the last kills that will take us to victory. Able to take out another BRM, slowly pushing the helicopters back to the edge of the map. Might allow me to corner them. Roland able to find the 2 shots onto the Su-25, so that was nice. Leopard 2A3 now moving up to assist these tanks in the front line. 1A3 hoping to get the Milan on target, missed. Will likely go down because of that. Although 2A3 saving the day. An utter destruction, you might say. Yes, we pushed all the way through now and continue to make ground. Still got to give this Akula decent respect, although that is the AA Akula, so not so much of a problem for my tanks. You can see the Roland 2s are zooming up. I've still got the Leopards nearby. Some of the Leopards actually getting low on ammunition. But a nice combined arms force here. Doing well. T-80UD gets routed by the AT missile landing nearby. 2A4 wanted that engagement, and it would have been an okay gun engagement for us because of the 65% accuracy. The issue is the T-80UD's armor, which is quite significant. So Apache continuing forwards with a new Alouette to provide recon. We have the supply vehicle trying to refuel and resupply the Gepard with ammo. For this one I'm just trying to move into the circle of the Mancat, and you can see that it's fixing up the Marders. Might be a potential waste of supply to fix up the Marders just because they're not as effective as things like Leopards, but in this case it's just helpful to have as many units as possible. And you can see that my teammates are now catching up with me, and Sathor's decided to bring in an absolute ton of these BO-105s. They are AT missile aircraft, or helicopters. Let's have to be a bit careful about this KA-50 Akula with those, because this KA-50 Akula does have air-to-air missiles. MiG-29 though, flying over my AA net, doesn't stand a chance. Gets taken out. On the left-hand side, my 2A4 was just sat here defending this all on its lonesome. You see I'm bringing up a supply vehicle to get that fixed up. Still have a Ronin 3 nearby just in case. And my 24 trying to make a run for it. Apache now moving up. Does manage to kill the Mi-24V on the ground. But unfortunately, Mi-24V AA plus the AA on the ground, coming out the spawn, gets the job done. Apache goes down. Leopard 2A3 looking for the kill onto the T-80UD. Unfortunately not able to find it just yet. Just charging forwards now towards the spawn. Hoping that we can pick off the rest of the kills we need. Su-25s coming in. Are going to be able to kill off one of my 2A3s. AA will shoot both of those down, of course, and we do manage to clean up the T-80UD. Gepard's now in range to help clean up the enemy helicopters. 2A4 did have to smoke itself off because we do see another T-80 on the field, but we're up to 39,000 points, not long now. Rest of my units are going to be starting to shift up. Left side still keeping defended with the Fernspier and the 2A4. We've got a couple of other tanks over there just in case, but the majority of the tanks I've got to deal with are right in front of us here. Unfortunately, Nathan's challenges, one of them getting taken out, but does manage to get paid back against the T-80BV. BTR-60s being rushed forwards with infantry. Probably Darth Vader, he called them in to this side of the map. accidentally got them caught out in front of our line here. Pretty much spawn killing at this point, but it is, of course, the end of the game. And there we have it. That is victory. I really hope you guys enjoyed this sort of combined arms push. I thought it was really, really cool. And when I was playing it, it felt really nice as well. It like felt smooth as butter, like just slicing through that little valley and then spreading out into the open fields and utilizing the Leopards to the best of their ability. In the end, 7,840 kills to 2,485 losses. Our best unit was one of these Leopards, I believe. Unfortunately, I can't click profile and show you, but the AA also invaluable during that game because of its ability to deal with all of the helicopters that Red was using. That Akula really causing me issues. See here, both of these Akula ATs, this one in particular, killing 2 Leopard 2A3s. But that's it for now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.